Oh, okay.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, good morning, everybody. Apologize for starting late. Welcome to Monday, June 15th, business meeting for the Broadwater County Commissioners. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good morning, everybody. Same rules as before. Public comment, you can stand or sit where we're at and make your comment, state your name for the record so that everybody knows who's making their comments. I guess with that, we will go ahead and proceed with public comment, any public comment. None? I actually have an answer for Tim. Was it you that asked about the restitution for Bill Brown? Okay, so to date, he has paid $18,304.81. 18,304.81.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Okay, no other public comment. I'll go on and we have a little bit of mail here to take care of. She's a letter from Department of Transportation stating what our state fuel tax allocation will be. And Broadwater County will receive $62,074.25. Letter from DEQ, results for the water out of the silos and negative for chloroform and reply. We received a payment from Family Medical Clinic for $1,200 for the rent and lease of May. We have claims to pay in the amount of $66,923.16.
I'll make a motion to pay claims in settlement.
Motion's been made and seconded to pay claims. Is there any questions or comment? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. All right, next on the agenda is Cactus Flats subdivision request for preliminary plat approval.
Yes, commissioners. So last Monday, you'd received previous to that, the application for the Cactus Flats subsequent minor subdivision. This is a one lot split in the silos area. Last week I read aloud the findings of fact and order and a list of proposed conditions as submitted by myself and the planning board.
Are the folks here that are proposing that subdivision, did they make it this one?
Mr. Dunn, sir.
So, Mr. Dunman, are you aware of some of our discussion from last week and some of the concerns from the proposed subdivision?
As far as, I wasn't here last week, I was here the week before.
Okay.
The open letters, yes,
Yeah,
yep, I read all that.
you read all the letters. Okay. Right, so some of the concerns were that, so currently right now you have 2 campers on that site, is that correct?
Yes.
And your subdivision covenants state that it's for residential use only,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
So what's your plans?
We're trying to get a split and we want to build as soon as possible. I'll say on both those lots.
All right. Also, when we were out there, we noticed that there was a encroachment or an approach off from Hager onto that property. Is that correct? Mike,
What's that?
is it an approach off from Hager?
Yeah.
Have we received any encroachment permits?
We received 2 driveway approach permits, both of them off of 80 Cook Road.
Okay, so that's where that would be approaching from 80 foot, rather than Hager. Is that correct?
That's what the application.
That's just where we drove through the ditch a few times. We didn't actually build.
Okay.
We just put it out there grass and then it's kind of fun to go a little bit more than put a culvert or. Yeah.
All right, so how do you want to address the alleged motocross track?
So that was, we just made one move on there. There wasn't a motocross track. My nephew had tipped over out there and he's still picking bikes out from a month ago. So it was just so that they had a place to make a small circle and it's not a motocross track. That's not our intent. And as soon as we do get to build, the motorcycles will probably just go away for the most part. They just don't have anything else to do out there right now.
Okay.
So when we get our house built, we can play games or we can play cornhole and we can have a horseshoe pit and maybe a basketball hoop and all that kind of stuff. So
No, we're not trying to restrict what you can do on your own property, but if it becomes a nuisance because your neighbors around you, then that's something that we need to discuss, right?
right, yep. That's not our intentions at all. So that's not why you bought it, is red dirt bikes out there.
Yeah. But sometimes what you don't consider a nuisance is considered a nuisance by your neighbors, right?
Mhm.
I guess I don't really have anything else, Michael, you got?
Well, the only issue that I have is the, and it's an issue that goes on through all those subdivisions out there, is that we have multiple mobile homes, campers, fifth wheels, every kind of camper seen it. They got 5, 6 of them on some lots. Some of them have 2 or 3. The COSA for most of those lots says one single dwelling. And I think that that's going to continue to be a problem out there. And I don't know how you address it, because I'm assuming people buy that property. Sometimes they probably buy it in a partnership. 5 to 6 people want to buy it and have a place to go park their camper. But the problem is the COSA on those subdivisions says one single resident.
Mhm.
And that's what it's meant. I mean, and DEQ is going to get involved in this, and I don't know what kind of a mess we're going to have, because there's already been complaints filed on numerous other lots that prohibit that. And I went out there the other day to look at it thinking, your neighbors up above you to the west just built a house and they're going to have an issue with you having 3 or 4 campers down there. But I go up there and they've got 4 campers parked up there, hooked up to their house. So who's right and who's wrong?
Yeah.
And I don't know who it is, but the issue is that when you buy that property and you look at the COSA, you're allowed 1 residence on property. And that's all you're allowed.
Mhm.
You're not allowed to have 2 or 3 of them parked there. The other thing is that there's things in this application that have been, for lack of better word, probably overlooked. Is there a weed plan? Has a weed plan been filed yet?
Not filed yet, but that is a
You're
condition.
not
of filing.
supposed to disturb any ground until you have a weed plan. The access onto Pager may be just a pile of dirt that you shoved in a ditch to make it easier for somebody to get on the road, but you're not allowed an access onto Pager by what the application says. So if you're going to put the application in, and we really, you know, the issue of the motocross being a nuisance, we don't really have a definition, but it's not very neighborly. And if that's going to continue, I think you're going to continue to have problems with neighbors. And then that's completely out of our hands. That goes to a homeowners association, which my understanding is doesn't exist. So it's probably going to go to court. So somebody's going to end up paying a lawyer, and then they're going to pay, somebody's going to lose a bunch of money there, both parties most likely. So I think that by putting this application in, we don't really have much truth to deny it. But I think that you need to pay severe attention to it because everybody out there is paying severe attention to you. And so that's, you know, that's just, I think that that's going to be a course that's going to take place out through that whole subdivision. Even the newest subdivision is already in violation. And I don't know if people don't read the COSA or don't understand what it says, but what it says is one single dwelling. And that's all you can have. So I wish that there was more that we could stand on to prohibit some of these actions, but unfortunately that's not where we're at. So I guess with reservation, I would make the motion to approve the subdivision.
Okay, I'll second that motion with a comment. This is the preliminary plat approval. So your final plat approval will be when you get everything. I guess what I would like to see is that some of these issues are resolved when you get to that point. Agreed?
Yeah. That is our intention, is just to build one family house on each one. You want to leave campers at that point. We're not trying to put 5 campers out there. We haven't since we've been out there. The most we ever had is 3 on one weekend.
Any public comment? Any public comment? I guess hearing none, all those in favor of approving the Cactus Flat preliminary plat Cactus Flats minor subdivision, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Thanks for making the trip.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so next on the agenda is the approval of the Department of Commerce CDBG grant MT-CDBG-PL-17-03. And what this is it's the amendment that the Department of Commerce has sent to us. And what they're amending is the completion time. I believe it was May that they wanted to have this completed and closed out, but they've extended that deadline to June of this year. So that's what we are assigning here today.
I'll make a motion to request the extension of the grant.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the amendment to the contract agreement between Broadwater County and Department of Commerce. Is there any public comment? Mr. Adams.
Mr. Chairman, Tim with Readout News, just for the sake of those folks that aren't following, would you just give a real, please, brief summary of what this grant is and what it's for?
Sure. This grant
Thank you.
was given to us to do our floodplain regulations update, CIP update, and also a growth policy update for Broadwater County.
And that amount of that grant?
You don't remember?
No. Well, I do, but the people watching probably don't.
I think I got that here. With $30,000, is that right, Mike? Is that how you read that? 30,000. And then this is our contribution.
Yeah.
So the amount of the grant was for $30,000.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. All right, hearing no public comment, all those in favor of signing the contract amendment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. Where is that in? Sitting like that.
Do you want me to take this up in court for his signature?
Yeah, and then it'll go to court for his signature. Chair, we'll give that to you, right? Along with that, we have approximately $11,000 left on this grant. And I guess what we're proposing to do is to send a letter to the Department of Commerce to ask for an amendment to this contract and also an extension to use this to help us upgrade our subdivision regulations. Our contractor is available and willing to help us do that. And this is something that definitely needed. We determined as we went through our growth policy that we need to update our subdivision regulations to reflect not only some of the things that statutes, to clarify some of the statutes, and then also some of the new updates to our growth policy as well. So this letter here that we would like to sign and send to the Department of Commerce, asking them to do that.
I'll make the motion to approve and send a letter to the Department of Commerce asking for the extension of the grant to use to revise our subdivision regulations.
All right. And then they, and I'll second that motion. Motion made and seconded to send this letter to the Department of Commerce to ask them to extend the contract and allow us to use the existing funds to update our subdivision regulations. Give the public comment. Tim.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Tim with Readout News. I'm pretty certain that I remember, but this is a contract with Great West Engineering, if I recall.
That is correct.
And so what my question on behalf of the readers and viewers of this is, will this next process, if approved, will that go through a public process where the citizens will have an opportunity to participate in that? Because a lot of folks have said that they didn't really see what was happening with the growth policy and those other things. So we just want to find out where the front page is and stay on top of that if we can, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, there'll definitely be opportunity for public comment. There'll be a public hearing And probably several weeks from people to go to submit their comment. And we'll go through that process.
Will that be through the planning board or will that be through?
It'll include the planning board, and they have recommendations to make to the commission as well.
Thank you.
Anything you want to add to that, Nicole?
No, our subdivision regulations right now are 2012. So we've had 3 legislative sessions in that time. So not a lot has changed, to where we're out of compliance necessarily, but I think, we do need an update, so just time.
Very good. All right. I guess we'll call for the vote. All those in favor of signing and sending this letter to the Department of Commerce, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. You want to talk through this anyway? All righty. We're a little bit early, but next on the agenda is the big sample for our hospital district update. Yeah. Yeah, you can move the slide up here a little bit if you'd like, so everybody can hear you. We're not gonna let you hide in the back. Good enough? Very good, thanks. All right, so kind of give us an update of the hospital district and what they think the future is.
Well, we of course finalized the sale of the hospital to Billings Clinic and repaid, they repaid the loan that the hospital district gave them. We in turn repaid the county for their investment in the hospital. So we no longer have a hospital building we're responsible for. We do have the ambulance building we're responsible for. And the progress on the ambulance building has been slow. If you'll remember, the petroleum board has given us a grant to clean up, and we still have a lot of money to clean up the oil spills, but the petroleum board does not pay for demolition of the building. Through MBAC, we worked with Snowy Mountain Development Corp out of Lewistown to get a grant to take care of the part of the demolition that the petroleum board won't cover. And then we put out bids to demolish the building and get the cleanup started, and we did not get any bids. So that slowed us down quite a bit. We did have.
Can I ask, do you think that's because of the COVID thing that people were?
No, it was because,
Separate.
it was before that. It was just, all the construction people were busy building.
Okay.
And, so we did finally, get, someone interested in making a bid. An engineer came out. Snowy Mountain Development Corp is going to guarantee, 100% payment on it. So it shouldn't cost the hospital district any money. But we still have to, MBAC still has to go to the petroleum board and, tell them what we're doing and get it all finalized with them, which we couldn't do until we had some bids. And that's been, I'm not sure of the availability of MBAC to work on Broadwater County issues for the foreseeable future. But I am the county representative to the MBAC board. We have a board meeting tomorrow, and I'll get an update on everything. Brian has some papers to sign from Snowy Mountain Development Corp, and I can sign those papers, and we'll start moving that forward. At this point in time, the hospital district board has not made any plans. We do have some money in our account. It's not in the bank. We do have funds in our account. We do not want to spend those funds until we have the ambulance building taken care of. We believe that Snowy Mountain Development Corp will cover, between the petroleum board and Snowy Mountain Development, that we'll get all our costs covered, and we'll get the building demolished and the site cleaned up at no cost to the hospital district or the county. But until that happens, we don't want to spend any of the money because it is expensive to demolish the building. And the building does have to come down. It's in terrible shape. The roof is falling in, the floor is buckling. We have a huge petroleum spill under it, and it's got mold. We haven't determined if it's the black mold that we're all concerned, but there's a lot of mold in there. The heating is terrible. The building does have to come down. So we are waiting to make any plans what to do with our funds until we know the building is taken care of. We don't want to end up being surprised and be short on cash and have to pay for something. So that's where we're at. We unfortunately, both Hugh Van Swearingen and John Ingalls did not realize when they had to file for their board seats on the hospital district, nor did we realize that we could write them in and have it on a ballot and write them in and get them elected. So right now we're short 2 seats on the board. We were hoping that we could just appoint them back to the board and go on. But I talked to Corey, and that's not how it works. Once the seats are vacated past an election, so nobody filed, then it's up to the county commissioners to appoint board members. We can't do it ourselves. So both Hugh and John have indicated they are interested and willing to serve on the board again. And they are writing letters of interest to Nicole to get it noted, and then when you have those letters of interest, do your postings and see if there's anyone else interested. And then it'll be up to the commission to appoint the board members.
How about, what does the district see as a function for them in the future?
We believe that going forward, we no longer have a hospital building we're responsible for, but our mission is to provide healthcare in the county. Make sure that we have healthcare in the county. We now have two medical entities, well, Doc Campbell is one as well, but we have the hospital in St. Pete's that we need to ensure do well. And then we believe that we can help in the county with various health issues. Some of the things we haven't made any decisions because we don't know. We can't spend any money until the ambulance building comes down. But some of the things that we've discussed are finding a way to help low-income people afford the shingles vaccine. The new shingles vaccine is a two-step process. You have to have two different vaccines, and they're very expensive. So there's an opportunity for the hospital district if we can find a way to help people who need help. We also are one of the few counties, I'm on the RMDC board, and we've had presentations from the state guy in charge of transportation. And we are the only county in the RMDC district that doesn't have any transportation for our seniors. And so we believe that having transportation to get the seniors into the medical facilities is important. Ambulances are for emergencies, but to get them in to get just see the doctors and take care of things. The COVID-19 shutdown of the senior center showed us that we have some issues. We have seniors that can't come in and can't pick up their own meals. So people have been volunteering, and that works well in the short term. For 2 months, and Pam's been doing that, delivering meals to people outside of town. We need to find a way to provide transportation for our seniors. A big part of health for these seniors is getting out, meeting people, interaction with others, and some of them cannot do that. If we could just provide transportation into the senior center so that they could have lunch, that would give them some interaction and opportunity to interact. So those are a couple of the ideas. We still think there's a need and that we can fill. We definitely believe that we don't know what the future brings. Right now, we don't have a hospital building, but we don't know what will happen in the future. It's very hard to get a hospital district established. We have one established. We'd like to keep it in existence in case we need it again, going forward in the future. So that's where we see the future and our purpose. And Mike spoke to me about the mills that we've been getting. And right now, I don't see a reason for us to stockpile cash.
You know, we don't feel we can spend it until the ambulance building is done, but there's no reason for us to be stockpiling. Mike and I talked about suspending the mills to the hospital district. I would be in favor of doing that if we have a time limit on it and say, let's suspend it for a year and then revisit where we're at with that. If we just stop and we say, well, we don't need it. If we do need it again, it's hard to get established. If we can suspend it for a year, that would be amenable to me at least. We haven't had a board meeting. We're waiting to get staffed up to actually vote on that. But I would support that concept if we had a time limit.
Right. Good. You still have enough members for a quorum right now?
We do. We have 3.
Okay.
And that's enough for a quorum.
Sure.
Our original intent was if we had 3, we could appoint the other 2 and move forward, but we're depending on you now.
Okay. All right, sounds good. When did that close, Nicole?
I'm just looking right now. I don't
Okay.
recall if it was last Friday or the Friday before. I'm sorry. Knew you were gonna ask that. So I sent it on June 10th. So last Friday, so 30 days. And there are 30, and so July 12th, which is a Sunday, so July 13th, it will be back, I anticipate, on this commission agenda, as long as I have letters from any interested individuals. July
And anyone
13th.
here that's interested in serving on the board, we would certainly like to see you submit a letter.
All right, well, you answered all my questions, Vic. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, is there any questions online?
Nothing online, nope.
Just real quick, anybody, Mr. Chair, anyone that's interested in sending a letter of interest, where do they send it?
Would be to Nicole Brown.
And how does that, I mean, mail,
Yeah.
email? That's the question.
Yeah.
So people that are watching can know where to
So my
possibly
email
send their
is,
interest.
email is preferential because then you have record that you've sent it, as well as, it's easier to track. So my email is planning, planning, @co.broadwater.mt.us. And just make sure in the subject line, you include hospital district board, something along those lines. Mail 515 Broadway, Townsend, Montana, 59644.
Thank you so much.
Very good. All right. Wonderful, thank you, Vic.
Thanks.
Yeah. Are you gonna hang around, Vic, for a few minutes?
Sure.
After the meeting?
Sure.
I have a question I'd like to ask.
Sure.
Guess next on our agenda is Corey Swanson, the Bar's litigation. Corey is guard duty, so he's asked me to bring us forward. The Bar's trial is moving forward. And with that in mind, we need to prepare for our next phase of trial and pre-trial proceedings. And they need to consult Dr. Newman, who they consulted before with Park Beats and Associates, to provide the testimony and witness information that they need to proceed in this trial. So in order to do that, we needed to sign a contract with Park Beats. They have agreed to reduce their fees from what they have charged us the first time. And so that's good for us. We unfortunately have no idea how much this is going to cost. And, but the process is moving forward. So I guess what we're signing here today is that contract with Park Beats and Associates to provide those services for us.
I will make the motion to approve the contract with Parker Dietz for the Bears trial.
I'll second that motion. Is there any public comment? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of signing a contract with Park Beats and Associates, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Let's just be waiting. I guess that's all that's on our agenda. Mike, did you have anything?
We need to approve the minutes.
Oh, yes, we do. Thanks for reminding me of that. All right, we have the minutes for June 8th, 2020.
Make the motion to approve the minutes for June 8th as circulated.
Motion been made and seconded to approve the minutes from June 8th. I'll second that motion. Any public comment? No comment? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Just a reminder, everybody, that we will be doing an online working meeting tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m. The Silos Master Plan Steering Committee. So we'll all be working from our individual workstations. And during this COVID thing, we won't be meeting together, so that's how that's going to work. All right, with that, we're adjourned at 10:52.
Quick question, Tim Rodendahl, citizen. What is the process or progress? I'm sorry, maybe you should have done that public comment. Status of moving into your new meeting.
Oh, well, I think they have the desk in place. They've installed the equipment. They're doing some testing. The internet has been hooked up sooner than we thought. We weren't planning on that till the end of the month, so maybe next week. I don't know. We'll see how things go with the testing. But it's going to be a little bit bigger facility. We'll be able to put some more folks in there. It will have microphone and speaker systems so folks can hear better, and we'll have some better audio and video equipment so that our online streams will hopefully be a little better. People can participate from home. So that's our intent, to try to make things as transparent as possible and move forward. But yeah, we're excited to get there. And also along with that, I don't know if everybody realizes, Allison Costo will be moving over there. So the extension office will move there. And that'll be a little bit better facility for her as well. And Josie from the Fair Board will move with her because they work together. Anyway, yeah, we're excited about that move. I don't know if we're going to be excited about it in the middle of wintertime, having to walk over there. But I guess it's not about us, it's about you guys, so thanks.
I haven't seen anything where I didn't pay close enough attention. What about the fair? Is there, what is it?
So that's that's a tough decision that we all have to make. So this week, I think that the rodeo board has already met. The fair board is meeting on Thursday. That's why the reason we kind of postponed our Board of Health meeting. We wanted to make sure that those folks had a chance to meet. And then we are meeting Friday, I believe, on 9 o'clock to discuss that and see if we can come up with a plan to make that work and how that's going to look. It's a tough deal. We received information from around the state, from all the other counties, and it seems like most everybody has canceled their events. There are a few that are going forward, but we'll try to make the best decisions with Broadwater County. Okay, thanks everybody for coming.
Does that mean you're adjourned, sir?
We are adjourned, yes.